So it's a mix of multiple things. Resume is important. Networking is very important. Not important, like very important. And also Canadian workplace experience. So there's a difference between Canadian experience and Canadian workplace experience, which I learned once I joined nonprofit
I love
sector,
it. Hmm.
because when you volunteer, that is your Canadian workplace experience. They only want to see that you understand the workplace culture in Canada. So that's what they're trying to get from your resume. So on your resume, if I'm volunteering for Immigrant Services Calgary, it will say Immigrant Services Calgary, volunteer, whatever I'm doing from this date to this date. And that becomes my Canadian workplace experience.
Hey there, it's me, Lydia May, a proud Canadian immigrant and a firm believer in the power of a positive mindset. I want to have honest conversations with successful immigrants about their stories, insights, and what it really takes to thrive in your new home. Get ready to warm up to Canada. Welcome to the Ice to Nice podcast.
Welcome, Meenakshi, or welcome, Mina, I should say. Thank you so much for coming, Agnu, today. I always was fascinated by your story because your story in some ways is a unique one. So you are an immigrant to Canada, but also when someone nobody they will look at your profile, like they will see that you spent a lot of years in the oil and gas industry here in Calgary, Alberta. But then you transitioned to a not-for-profit agency and you decided to help skilled immigrants to achieve their career success in Canada. So, but of course, everybody probably would like to hear your story. Who are you? How did you come to Canada? Why you decided to come to Canada? And yeah, why you decided to transition into a not-for-profit sector?
Thank you so much, Lydia, for having me on your show today. It's my pleasure. So we moved to Canada almost 24 years back. And it was my husband's idea. He's like, let's move to Canada. And I kept saying no. So we came for a visit. And after the visit, he asked me, do you like it? I said, yeah. He said, should I apply for PR? I said, okay. In my mind, I'm thinking we are not getting it.
Yeah.
And then it came in 6 months, and within 6 months, we were here.
Wow.
So, as a new immigrant, even back in that time, we struggled. There was a lot of struggle. We did not know what to do, where to go, how to find every resource. And then we were in Toronto. So, from Toronto, we moved to PEI. From PEI, we moved to Fort Mac. From Fort Mac to Calgary. So, we have been all over Canada. And while I was working for oil and gas, I used to volunteer for Immigrant Services Calgary. And I used to see how they help these new immigrants, and it was so fascinating and so fulfilling. So I asked them one day, I said, like, do you have a position? Like, maybe I can work here? And they said, but we cannot pay you corporate money that you make. So I said, I don't care about that. It's more close to my heart. So I would want to do this. So I joined Immigrant Services Calgary. It's been over 7 years, almost 8 years now. And I do not see myself going back to anything else. This is very close to my heart. It's a wonderful, wonderful organization, wonderful people that I work with. And when we help these newcomers, the kind of fulfillment we get is amazing.
I see, but I guess I can relate to you as well, Agnu, because as you know, I also work for a not-for-profit agency, and a few times, like my friends who work for oil and gas, like they would tell me, "Hey, like, do you want to come and join our team?" And I would be like, "I'm not sure. Like, you guys, you are very stressed, and like it's all about oil and gas, but I would like to make a difference, like and help new people who are the same as me, who are immigrants as well." So, like, you've spent in Canada quite a lot of time. So, do you remember, like, back then when you came, very terrified? Because, like, was it hard to find a job? Like, and looking back, like, do you still remember?
I do every bit of it.
Mhm.
So, my first job that I found in Canada was through a network. Now, when I think back, I know, okay, it was through a network. That time, I did not understand what networking meant or, what it was. And initially, when I was applying for a job everywhere, they kept telling me I did not have Canadian experience.
Wow.
So I got really mad at somebody one time and I told them it's not something that I can buy at a store. Otherwise, I would go and buy it and give it to you. Till the time you will not give me a job, I will not get that experience.
Yeah.
And then I got my first job and then moved from there on. And then, later people kept guiding us. They were like, okay, take this course, do this certification. So all those things actually helped us in the long run. And that's what we do with the newcomers now. We tell them what they need. And with the new program gateway that we have, we actually focus on giving them the reference to the right resources every time that they come to us. So if somebody wants to take, maybe they are an engineer and they're new here and they don't know how to get the license, so we'll refer them to APEGA and they will know how to get their licensing done. But in the meantime, they can also look at other opportunities. So we have a lot of things that we refer people to.
Awesome. And I guess like these days, definitely newcomers, they have more services than 24, 25 years ago. And we will talk a little bit later about how settlement agencies, they play a big role in the newcomer journey. But now I'm more curious about you as well. So like you said that eventually you did get your first job in Canada. Like, can you share with our viewers how did it happen?
So I ran into somebody and they said somebody they knew worked for this company and they were looking for somebody to work in accounts payables. That's not
Okay.
what I did back home.
Yeah.
But I had studied accounting, so I said, sure, I can do it. Like if they give me the job, I can do it. So they interviewed me and they gave me the job. They put their trust in me and they gave me the job. And then I was one of their best employees, working really hard because, when you're an immigrant, you're trying to prove yourself. You're trying to prove that you are worth every bit of whatever you're getting. So it actually worked very well. And then from there, I was working for them, and my husband got a job offer from another company in PEI, and we did not know what PEI was, and everybody kept scaring us. They were like, don't go there, nobody lives there. And
Especially back then, 25
yeah,
years ago, because I've been there, yeah, but
but it's
now,
beautiful.
yeah.
I'm a big ambassador for PEI. It's a beautiful place. So when my husband went for his interview and he called me from there, he's like, it's so gorgeous. You'll die. This is so beautiful. And my first question to him was, do they have Walmart? Because I totally thought, they will have nothing. We'll have to grow our own food or do whatever, hunt. And yeah, it worked out really well for us. I think one big thing that we did was we did not restrict ourselves to Toronto,
Yeah.
because most of the immigrants, when they come, they restrict themselves to bigger cities and they do not want to explore smaller places. So we moved to Summerside in PEI, and that time the population of the town was 5,000 people.
Wow. So it's basically like it's, yeah, it's nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
So everybody knew you, right?
Especially
Yeah.
after India, right? So
Yeah.
you didn't tell that you're originally from India, right? And I
Yes.
just was recently in India. Yeah.
I'm from India, and also in India, I'm from New Delhi, which is the capital city, which is the most populated city there. And then from there to a population of 5,000 people, I loved it.
Oh, of course, yeah. Like yeah, I can see why, like being in Delhi, right? And then like suddenly 5,000 people,
Yeah,
quiet.
quiet, yeah. Quiet and safe. When your kid is outside playing, you're not scared of anything.
Yeah.
So when we moved to PI for the first time and we were renting a place, I had to go out somewhere and I'm like, the door doesn't lock. So I called my landlady and I said, the door doesn't lock. And she's like, so I said, so I have to go out somewhere. She's like, nobody locks the doors here. And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, is she crazy? Like, she's telling me to leave my house open. It will be robbed by the time I
Yeah.
come back. And then we found out that nobody locked the doors in
Yeah.
PEI.
Yeah, but probably they're doing it now. Like,
Maybe, yeah.
like the population is probably more than 5,000 people. I just actually was there, I think 2 years ago. It's beautiful.
Okay, it's
I
beautiful.
agree with you. It's a beautiful place. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So see, but when you've mentioned like how you got your first job, still it was through networking, like, right?
Absolutely.
In some way, like,
Yeah.
because you said, oh, I knew some people, like they knew like, some like, nobody else, and that's like
Yeah.
how it happened. And also, like I know that now for almost like 7 years, right, you have been helping actually newcomers with employment. So, and that's why I really wanted to have you on my podcast, like, because I was like, she knows a secret. She knows a secret how someone nobody can get hired. And of course, I understand it's not just one thing, right? And we don't have like a simple like, solution for everybody,
Of
for
course.
everybody. But as I always tell, like we have our experience, right? And by our experience, we have proven that life in Canada is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can return to your profession or you can start a new career. And after some time, still, you will be like, oh, I love my home country and I'm okay to visit, but I don't want to go back and settle down, right? Because we found what actually is important for us. Let's say nobody is just watching us and they're brand new to Canada. So is resume important, or what is more than resume can help nobody to land their first job in Canada?
Sure. So it's a mix of multiple things. Resume is important. Networking is very important. Not important, like very important. And also Canadian workplace experience. So there's a difference between Canadian experience and Canadian workplace experience, which I learned once I joined nonprofit
I love
sector,
it. Hmm.
because when you volunteer, that is your Canadian workplace experience. They only want to see that you understand the workplace culture in Canada. So that's what they're trying to get from your resume. So on your resume, if I'm volunteering for Immigrant Services Calgary, it will say Immigrant Services Calgary, volunteer, whatever I'm doing from this date to this date. And that becomes my Canadian workplace experience.
Oh my God, this is brilliant because I never thought about like this way. And even I teach people on like soft skills,
Yeah.
how it's important to understand the game, how it's important to play by the rules. But that's the thing. And like if nobody sees that you were volunteer, it's same as a Canadian credential, it's
Mm-hmm.
same as the Canadian job experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like, they understand that people can work with you.
Yes.
Like you understand how here people work. You understand, and probably you have a good level of English. That like if you've spent as a volunteer at least 6 months, that you are kind of job ready, but in a different way. You are ready to face the Canadian workplace.
Absolutely. Yeah. So when I got my first job, that is when I learned that Canadian workplace experience is a thing. Actually.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
It's so nice.
because when I came from India, I was like, what are they talking about? I've been working all my life, and they're telling me I don't have the Canadian experience. What is this Canadian experience? But when I joined the first Canadian company, I realized, okay, the workplace culture is different from back home here. So I learned how things
I
work here.
wanna ask you if you could give me an example, like
Sure.
because and I'll share mine. So, like when I came to Canada, I was an international student, and I started my program at Bow Valley College. Well, it was not my Canadian working place experience, but definitely that was the moment when I realized that I was different, right? So, like, and I came up to my first class, and suddenly, like, I noticed that a lot of people they would interrupt our teacher, but not in a rude way, but they would challenge a teacher. And then like some of them, they were drinking coffee from Tim Hortons, or they were eating a sandwich. And I was looking around and I was like, oh my God, how it can be possible?
Yeah.
And then I decided to test myself. So because as you know, at Bow Valley College, there is a Tim Hortons
Yeah.
downstairs. So I went downstairs and I bought myself, I don't drink coffee, but I got myself some nice tea and a sandwich. And then I came back to my class. I could drink my tea, but it was very hard for me to eat a sandwich, right? And it was the moment when I realized that I'm different, that like I need to understand how like things are working here. So, but my place, it was not a workplace, it was my college. But for example, for you, when you realize that, oh my God, everything is different here.
Yeah. So like back home in India, if I'm working, it's work. It's only work,
Yeah.
and nothing else.
No chit chat.
No chit chat, no, coffee station chatting, no, like nothing like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But here there was chit chat. There was, you talk to people. You're also building your internal network when you're working anywhere. So when I started to work for Suncor, I was building my network within Suncor. So I would talk to everybody in every department, and that actually helped me build my network within the organization as well. So you need internal network as well when you're working for any organization, which was not the case back home. For there, like, it was work and work. Work means work. Though back home also I worked for a diplomatic mission, so it was a bit different for me, because it was one of the African countries, and they brought in their culture. So I learned their culture over there, as well as the Indian culture, and here I learned the Canadian culture. So I think a mix of everything is very good.
Oh my God, but this is amazing. Yeah. So like, but like anything like funny, like for example, my story like, with a sandwich, like something what shocked you, like in the first job in Canada for you. Do you remember? It was so long time ago and you don't have anything.
Yeah, so in my first job, I remember we had a Christmas lunch
Mm.
for everybody, and for us back home, if there was a party like a Christmas party or something, it would be very formal. You like just dress formally. You come. There's like a formal
Yeah.
dinner,
No jeans.
no jeans, nothing. And here, everybody is like super casual.
Yeah.
They are chatting and laughing and cracking jokes, and even cracking jokes with the top bosses,
Yeah, like that's
which
the
was
thing, right?
not something that we could do back home. Back home, like boss, we would address them as sir or ma'am,
Mm.
and we could not crack jokes with them. But here it was like, oh, yeah, like they're like buddies, right? So I was like, oh my god, like this person said this to the top boss. This person is going to get fired tomorrow. That's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm thinking
know.
in my mind. But then I realized, okay, this is the culture here.
Yeah.
So it was very different from back home.
Wow, like, but this is great. So, like, and that's why I think you're so great at your job because, like, you've been there yourself, like, right? And you understand. And even, like, exactly like, what you said that when you were working for Suncor,
Hmm.
like, you were building relationship inside
Hmm.
of your team. And do you think in some way it's also some kind of networking? Because, like, later on, you don't know, like, Calgary is not so big, like, right?
Yeah.
And the person you might work with now might like land another job and then they will bring you like to a different company or even to a completely new like area of your expertise, like, right? This
So
is
this
amazing.
actually, yeah, this actually happened to me.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
like
So after Suncor, I was looking for an opportunity and I applied through one of the recruiting companies, and they called me. They said, "We have a job for you. It's with Imperial Oil, and can you start on Monday?" And I said, "No interview." Like I was really surprised because there's an interview. They're like, "No, the hiring manager knows you." I said, "Okay, who's the hiring manager?" They said, "We don't have the name, but they know you." So I reached there on Monday, and it was somebody that I've worked with at Suncor in Fort Mac, and she knew me
Wow.
from there. And the moment she looked at the pile of resumes and she saw my name, she's like, "I just want her."
Oh my God,
So
that's
that
very
worked in my favor.
nice.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so this is, and she was not even my boss at Suncor, or she was like not a direct contact, but because she knew my work ethics, she knew how I worked, she just picked me.
I see. Wow, great. But like, and that's the evidence that networking is working. But I have a question for you to ask. So, not so many people love networking, like, no, right? So, like, and since again, you have been working with immigrants for 7 years, so probably you've seen different like, people. Some who are like you, who love networking, who loves networking, and they're ready like to conquer like every mountain, like, right? But what about those who say, I don't like networking? So, what would you suggest to those people?
So my suggestion would be like, uh, this is something that works here. So once you have moved here, we have to adapt to the system here, and the system is building your network. I'm not saying that somebody cannot find a job without getting a network. Some people might find a job, but the percentage will be super low. And right now, the market is very competitive. The unemployment rate is pretty high. So if you do not have that network, if you are not networking properly, chances of you getting into the job market become lower.
No.
So I think, yeah, I understand. Some people say I'm an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to talk,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fine. You don't need to talk for 2 hours to somebody. You can talk for 10 minutes to somebody to build your network.
Yeah.
You can book a coffee chat with somebody, and while you're drinking coffee, you're just chatting with them. And when you're not networking only to get a job. You're networking to build your network. Maybe if you call me for a coffee chat and I don't have a job for you today, that's fine. But maybe tomorrow somebody else comes and talks to me and says, "Oh, do you know anybody who has this skill set and I'm looking for this person?" You will come to my mind because I had a coffee with you, and I'll say, "Oh, yes, I have this person. I can recommend that person."
Yeah, and it's exactly what happened, like with your one of your jobs,
Yeah,
right? And some people they remembered you
yeah.
and they invite you for a job, and I so love my this project of mine because I meet with different people and I get a lot of ideas. For example, now I'm listening to you, I'm like, oh my god, this is brilliant, and then in my next podcast I might use it as well. But now coming back, like what you just said about techno-working, I completely agree with you. But now I'd like to ask you this question. So one of my guests as well, she mentioned that actually like volunteering, like in some way it's a strategic networking. And then I thought, for example, me when I came to Canada, and same as you, I heard about networking. It's like I don't know how to do networking. And
Hmm.
plus, back then, I thought that networking is just about, hey, are you hiring? And only through the years, I learned exactly what you've said. You need to build your connections. You need to
Absolutely.
build your network. And it doesn't have to be that you're pretending. It can be just your friends. It
Yeah,
can be just some people like at the grocery
yeah,
store,
yeah.
right? So with the volunteering though, and I'm curious what you think about that. So, and I started thinking like when at first I heard like this idea that volunteering as a strategic networking. So like I think for me back then it would have been easier to volunteer
Hmm.
because then I would remove that pressure that I need to go and connect with people and ask them for a job. I'm I am at the event, let's say, and I'm making like I don't know, like some soups for homeless people,
Hmm.
right? So, and in this way, I think it's easier to build your network even without knowing that you are building this network, right? Like, because at the same time, when you're making that soup, somebody else can be next to you, and it can be this synergy, exactly what you've said,
Yeah.
like you go for a coffee with somebody and then later on they ask, hey, do you know a person? Oh, but I work with Mina, I worked with Lydia, and we were making this wonderful soup. And then she was so talkative and she was so good at promoting
Hmm.
her agency or something like that, like we should hire her, right? So do you agree with this idea that volunteering, it's like it's basically a strategic networking?
So I would agree. So I still volunteer because I enjoy volunteering, like I enjoy doing certain things. But as a newcomer, when you're volunteering, so you're not only building your Canadian experience, you're also building your network. And sometimes, so I will give you an example for our agency. We have actually hired a lot of our volunteers. So I'm one of them. I used to volunteer for ISC.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was volunteering, I learned what they did and I really liked what they did. And then I joined them. So it's always a good idea. And also for the organization, when you volunteer for them, they see your skill set and they see you. So if they really like you and they have an opportunity, they don't mind offering it to you. It's just that, you have to build that network. So I actually have like an old story, an old client. He was given not like a volunteer, but he was like with a company where they were paying him a stipend for 3 months, and they said, he can come and build some experience here. He was an engineer, and he after 3 months he's like, oh, they just let me, like they're like, bye bye. They've not absorbed me or anything. And I said, what did you do? Oh, I would just go to work in the morning, do work all day, and come back home. So he did not interact with anybody in the organization at all in those 3 months. Whereas I have another client, she did a program through another organization, and they gave her a placement, and she asked for a placement at University of Calgary. And while she was placed there, she built her network in such a way that by the time she finished her placement, they had hired her.
It makes a lot of sense. Exactly what you've said. Like, you need to know how to work. Like, and you think that you know how to work, but if you don't have the knowledge, if you don't have the skills, like they might not keep you, right? Just, and not
Absolutely.
because you're a bad worker, but like people want to be sure that you are good with other people, like, right? That the corporate culture,
Yeah, or
like,
your
and
skills
everything.
match their demand.
Yeah,
That's what they're
or
looking for.
skills. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like it's very important as well. So like I'm curious though, like if you can name biggest mistakes, like I mean, you've named just basically one,
Mm-hmm.
that when people, they don't interact, they just go to work, they do their work, and that's it. So I guess this is a mistake number one. So can you talk about any other mistakes immigrants make when they search for a job, or even when they already found their first job and it's very hard for them to keep that one or be promoted later?
So I would not call them mistakes. I would
Mhm.
call them learnings, because you
Learning.
learn from every mistake that you make, right? So sometimes I have seen people will they will make their resume in such a way that they are ups selling them. Like it's like I am an engineer, but I have 4 years of experience, but I'm showing that I have 8 years of experience, and
Hmm.
I get into a job, but I will not be able to do justice to that job. So if I'm not able to do justice to that job, then they will not keep me. So I've seen some new immigrants who get hired and then they get fired pretty quickly, because either sometimes they lie on their resumes, or sometimes so I'll tell you something.
Mhm.
So most of the immigrants, we teach them to use the ATS. ATS is automated tracking system that helps you to build the resume as per the job description. And I met with somebody and he's like, I'm not using ATS. What I do is I copy the job description, paste it on my resume at the bottom, make the font size zero point 0.5, and make the font white. Now, ATS is a software. So it's going to read the whole job description that's pasted below on the resume, and it will say, okay, it's 100% match because every keyword has been in the resume, whereas it's not visible to my eyes, but it's visible to the system.
Wow.
So it's cheating. And later on, maybe when they ask you to do some things out of that and you're not able to do it, too bad.
Oh my God. But see, I've lived in Canada like 11 years. It's the first time I hear it. And that's why I wanted to
I
have you
actually
as a
saw
guest.
somebody. I like there was somebody I was helping. And she was applying for a job, and she sent me her resume, and I looked at her resume. I just looked at it and I said, "You're cheating." She's like, "How do you know?" So what happened was the job description sometimes has some abbreviations or some things, So there'll be a red zigzag below them because it's not able to like comprehend it, like it's not correct English, right? So bottom space is white, but I could see like four red zigzag marks there. And I was like, you're cheating because you have pasted the job description here.
Oh my God, this is crazy. But what about okay, so they can pass the system,
Yeah.
but when my understanding, but maybe I know again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, when the resume pass the system, then it goes to a recruiter
Yeah.
or to a hiring manager.
Yeah.
But then they can see that thing straight away, or sometimes they just missed.
Yeah. So they can miss it too, because what if like it did not have any abbreviations or anything and it's correct English? So they will not know it because it's not visible. It's the font is white. So nothing is visible.
Wow. It's yeah.
But I have always told my clients, do not cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you cheat and get into a job, you will not be able to sustain it.
Mm-hmm.
You need something where you go and you stay there. They like you and you love the work and everything is good. But if you cheat, it's not. I've seen people, they will say, okay, just to put Canadian experience, they'll say, oh, this is my friend's company, and they put experience with that company, but they have not gained any Canadian workplace experience. So when they actually go and start working, then they are facing difficulties because they're like, oh, this is not what I expected. So I
Wow.
think it's the one thing that newcomers need to understand is do not cheat.
Awesome. But I guess here we can talk now about exactly why settlement agencies are very important in every immigrant journey. Because, see, even me, because I was an international student when I came to Canada. So, of course, I didn't know about the settlement agency because, again, I was an international student. So, I didn't have a pre arrival guidance or something like that. So, I actually, the first time I learned about the settlement agency, it was like when I started working for Windmill for my full time job, right? website, and then I was like, oh my god, but those are amazing. And now I promote you guys everywhere. I promote every settlement agency, and every time like, when I hear from an immigrant, oh, there is no help in Canada, I'm like, are you kidding? Like I used to think like, yes, there is no help in Canada, but there is a lot of help. So, and this is an example. So what you've told about like the resume writing, right? So what else do you teach? Like, and maybe you can clarify even more why it's so important to register with a settlement agency. Who can register with a settlement agency? For example, my understanding was that I'm an international student, so I'm not eligible, but maybe again things are different now, and you can clarify on these points more.
Sure. So our agency, Immigrant Services Calgary, we help everybody. Whether you are on work permit, whether you are on PR, you are a refugee claimant. And what we do is we actually build a gateway plan for everybody based on your needs. So we'll do a detailed needs assessment, and based on your needs, we'll build a detailed plan and refer you to the right resources. So maybe you are a newcomer and you are looking for shelter. You don't have a place to go. Maybe you are in a dire situation right now and you don't have a place to sleep tonight. So you need immediate shelter, whatever your needs are, or you're looking for employment, or you're so based on those, we give referrals. We do not teach building your resume, but we'll refer you to the right resource where they'll help you to build a good resume, or we'll refer you to a good resource where they can help you with your employment journey. So based on whatever your needs are, we'll provide you with the resources. So this actually came into play a few years back. This was a new, that time it was a pilot project, and now it's a full-fledged thing that's happening now. And all the agencies got together. So this is the most amazing part about this program is all the other agencies are our partners now.
Wow.
So we refer to them based on, what the client is looking for.
Awesome. But then like how people can find you, so, and then how they can register, and as they notice that you didn't mention study permit, right? So if someone nobody's on a study
Yeah,
permit still.
they can come to us as well.
Oh, I see.
The only thing is we might have less resources for people on study permits.
Oh, I see. It's
So
basically how you get the funding. It's probably like, right, how
yeah,
the
so
funding is
maybe not
distributed.
everybody has funding to help students, but whoever has funding to help students will refer the students to them.
Mhm.
It just depends on your status and what exactly you're looking for.
I
So we
see.
can help with those definitely.
So, and people like basically can just walk in or send an email and say,
Yeah,
hey,
they can
like
call us, they can walk in, they can book, or like they can we go to our website and book online as well, and book with a gateway planner, and the gateway planner then helps them in detail. We also have gateway planners speaking multiple languages in case people don't speak English.
I
We
see.
have people speaking a lot of languages within the organization. And if the language that you speak is not available with us, we even book interpreters
Wow.
to help you with that,
It,
because
it's
maybe
like a VIP service, even, right?
yeah, and it's a free service,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's no cost to it. Most of the newcomers do not realize, when they land in Canada, when they're on PR, or they have come as a refugee or whatever, the papers that they get have all the agencies' details in there.
See, I had a feeling. I had a
Yeah,
feeling that it was
but
there. People don't look. They don't
no,
read.
they don't read. Yeah,
They're too excited. They're too concerned what they're gonna do in Canada and
yeah.
everything. So they
I've
just
had
miss it.
people who came to me after almost a year, and they said, today I was going through my papers and I found your agency. So
Wow.
I'm coming here to you.
Actually, it's a very good thing to know, no, right? Like, no, so no, no, maybe we need to think more no, about how we can like, make it more visible, like, right? Like, no, for example, I know there are a lot of pre-arrival like, no, programs as well when
Yeah.
people even learn about that prior coming to Canada, and that helps them as well. But now, like, oh my god, like I've discovered so much, so many new things like, no, for me. But now, because you have this very long journey in Canada, right? So you started as a new immigrant, you didn't know what to do, you switched provinces and everything. Now, looking back, what things you would have done differently? Like, and maybe our viewers, they can learn from your mistakes.
I always say, this is what I always say. If I had one of me helping me 24 years back, things would be super easy for me because I would have known my path, I would have known about, how I volunteer and it becomes my Canadian experience, how I network, like all those things. Also, like making my resume. I was struggling, as you said, you had a picture on your resume. I had a picture on my resume as well. And I'm like, why nobody's calling me? I have a very good picture on my resume. But then you realize, so if I had like more help at that time, and for new immigrants, help is available. Avail that help. Take that help. There's no, and also we have noticed in past a lot of times people that come here on like under skilled worker category,
Mhm.
they think immigrant serving agencies are only for low literacy people,
Only for VIP,
or only for
lawyers,
yeah,
doctors.
yeah, or no, the doctors won't even come to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they think like they are like highly educated, so
Oh,
we
I see.
cannot
So it's
help
the
them.
opposite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
sorry.
opposite. So
Yeah.
they think, it's only for people that are low literacy or
Yeah.
people that are coming, like they have immediate needs where they don't have any shelter, they don't have any food. Only those people can go to these agencies, but it's for everybody.
Yeah, like for example, I work with directions for immigrants. Like they have
Yeah,
study groups, like, right?
yeah,
And those
amazing study
study
groups.
groups like
Yeah,
free for doctors,
yeah,
engineers, like lawyers to pass exams. But
yeah,
again, not so many people know, right, about
absolutely.
those.
We refer to them all the time, depending on what clients we get. We refer to them all the time. But like, so for example, I'll tell you, there was somebody that I met. She was a client years back. She came and she had worked in banking industry in past. And then she took a break because she had a child. So she took a break for like 3 or 4 years. And here she wanted to work for the banking industry. So she was a very dedicated person. I explained to her about resume. She understood. She modified. Then I explained to her about networking. In 1 month, she did like over 60 coffee chats.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
And then she had multiple job offers. And because she picked so the first one that came, she took that one. Then she's like, okay, I cannot say no, like I cannot refuse them now because I've already accepted this one. So she told the other bank that, I'm not going to join you right now, but you are my target bank. So I will come to you someday. So then later she moved to that bank and she's done so well in her career. I always tell her like she's a story that I tell to people because as soon as I explained to her about networking and everything, she took it to her heart and she sent out multiple coffee chat messages. So we say if you send out 10 chat messages, you might get one. So imagine how many she must have sent out that she did 60 coffee chats in 1 month.
Wow, this is crazy. Probably it's like a lot, 600 or maybe even
Hmm.
more.
Yeah,
Like such a determination. Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. But see, but that's why like we need more stories like that because like these days, especially as you said, like the unemployment rate is quite high. And like we hear on the news that immigrants are leaving Canada, that life is tough here. But I always tell like, but it's difficult everywhere now. Like we all live in the global economy, right? So and things are not the greatest ones all over the world. Like and that's why still I believe that in Canada, like it's still great to be, but people should ask for help. They should look for some resources like with your agency and with even you specifically, right? I always tell like, yeah,
I
like,
may not be able to help them specifically,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they can just book with a planner anytime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like I know for sure. But now, so we have established that, of course, not just resume is important, right? But it's a whole package, exactly like
absolutely.
what you said. What would be your final advice for those who are struggling now, who cannot find a job, who are not even in Canada, but they're about to land in Canada and they're so scared to start working at McDonald's? Like that was my biggest fear, right? I was like, oh my God, what if I need to work in McDonald's. And not like it's bad, but like you're from India, I'm from Russia, similar mentality parents, and right, you
Yeah.
cannot work in McDonald's. Like you have to, no, 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 no food, no restaurant, like nothing. You have to be like in some kind of office, like, right? So, but like when I came into Canada, I had this approach that okay, like I'm okay to start from scratch, like exactly like
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
like you start, and then like let's see where life will bring me, right? And you and I, like, and all of my guests, like, know, and people I know, like, we have that evidence that, like, with a little bit of work, still, like, no, you can be happy in Canada and you can have a great, like, no career. But so based on that, still, and everything you've said, what would be your final advice?
Yeah, I think it's very important to first of all avail the services that you have here so that you learn. Not everybody is coming set with everything. When I was a newcomer, I came with a mindset, oh, I have such good education, I have such great job experience. When I land at the
And great
airport,
picture.
yeah, and when I land at the airport, there'll be people standing there to hire me. That's what I came with. So my dreams were shattered. But I think availing the help that is available, avail all the help first of all, and network. So networking is not only essential for newcomers; it's essential for everybody. My son practically grew up here. He was 5 when we moved here. When he was in university, he started to build his network. He had some mentors at different organizations. He would go and meet them for coffee every month and tell them about his progress, what he's doing. And they would guide him and coach him. And then he would take their guidance and do the things, based on that. So he was not in our category because we were the ones who came and we were looking for jobs. But he grew up here, his education was here, but he still but built
Still,
that
he
network.
had to start from
Yeah,
scratch, and that's why I always tell you, you're brand new to Canada,
yeah.
nobody knows you. And even like, I said like this is my final question, but when you were answering, I was like, no, I have to ask her. Like, so you said like when you came to Canada, like you thought that at the airport like, they will give you a job, and then your dreams were like down, like, right? So how did it change? How you found the traits or the positive mindset? Because like I'm all about the positive mindset, that it's very important, and that's why my channel is called Eyes to Nice. So first we are very like everything is bad, it's cold, or like it's just cold in our souls. But then like I see you now, I cannot imagine that you were down, like, and you were thinking that, oh, like my dreams will never happen here. So like, do you remember that moment, or like was it your first job or something? Like, what changed you?
I think my positive mindset was still there, even though I was going through whatever I was going through. I kept the mindset very positive because when we were moving here, I told my husband, "I'll not quit my job, and you should not quit yours. We'll just go
Just in
there, we'll
case.
land, and we'll see." And he said, "No, if we have something to look back to, we'll run back to that
Oh,
because it's
smart.
our comfort level.
Mm-hmm.
So I will not leave any comfort level." So we quit our jobs, we like sold everything, and we moved here. So it was like, okay, now we are here. There's no going back. We are going to stay here. So whether we have to struggle, whatever we have to do, even if I have to work for McDonald's, I'll do that. It's just that, I need a job to pay my bills. So initially, if you get a job at any place, no job is bad, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to give you experience and it's paying your bills. And then slowly and gradually, you might find what exactly you're looking for. I have also seen people who come here and they want to change their career paths. They're like, I've seen some clients and they said, back home, my parents forced me to become an engineer. I don't want to be an engineer. I have a client who came here and studied social work because he was forced to do engineering, but his heart and soul was in social work. So he went to college and took a degree in social work, and he's working as a social worker.
Yeah, it's like a different life, a
It is.
second life, a
Yeah,
second chance, right? Awesome,
yeah. And
awesome.
in Canada, it's like you can change your career at any point of time. I went through a lot of changes. When I came here, I worked in accounts payable. I'd never done that. Then I started to work in oil and gas sector, and then within oil and gas sector, I moved into supply chain. I had never worked for supply chain. I took some courses and I moved into supply chain. Then there was a big project that I was leading, so I did change management and HR, and then I joined ISC, because I had HR and change management that came in handy.
Very strategic, but also
Yeah,
serendipity in some way.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
awesome. Well, like I'm fascinated by your story, and I think like your piece of advice, I think it will apply to everybody. And and it's not just your advice, you've lived that, right? You've
yeah.
lived this life, your career life. And and I'm not gonna be surprised if in a 5 years time you might end up like somewhere else, right, like you
Of
might
course,
stay
you never
like
know.
with your wonderful agency, but again, like you might be like, oh, like it's never too late to learn in Canada, right? And yes, I'm so grateful for all of the help you have provided to so many new people. And I know just recently, like you won an award, right? Like top 10 Asian change makers. Like,
Yeah,
did they
that
say
was
it
in
right?
2022. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. So I really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy woman, and I'm happy that you are here today. And I'm 100% sure that a lot of people they will benefit from this
Thank you
episode.
so much. Thank you for having me here today. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to help people because I feel like not everybody gets this opportunity. I am very blessed that I have this opportunity, and I'm very blessed to be a part of Immigrant Services Calgary because this organization has given me wings. They like whatever I want to do. The team is very supportive. The management is very supportive, so they're always there to support me, and I'm really grateful to them as well because without their support, I would not be able to do what I'm doing today.
Okay, like this is great. And now I'm wondering because like I'm pretty sure a lot of hungry people like they would be like, where does she work? Because probably of course they've heard the name, but how they can contact you, or of course like maybe not you, because I understand you're a busy woman, and then if suddenly like 100 hungry people they will start like messaging you, you won't be able to reply. But like what would be the best way for people to connect with Immigrant Services Calgary?
Absolutely. So they can either go on our website, which is Immigrant Services Calgary,
Mhm.
and connect us through that. They can also go on our other website, which is Gateway Connects, and connect through Gateway. They can actually fill an online form for an appointment, or they call 403-265-1120 to book an appointment with a Gateway planner. So they'll be asked some questions when they're booking their appointment on their status and what exactly they're looking for. And based on that, they'll be booked with a Gateway planner. If they have a special language request, they can mention that as well. And they'll be booked with a planner that speaks their language.
Thank you. I think you will get some clients for sure.
Thank you.